We moved to Alaska, but I was too little to remember it. I was just told the story, and I know it was fact because I was told by other relatives that it happened also. But it was kind of a, I don't know if you've ever seen the Saturday Night Live bit with Farley saying lived in a van down by the river. That happened to us. We lived in a van down by a river when there were my mother and my father and my older brother and myself. By the time I guess I had to have been 2. I'm sure my mother was pregnant at that time because Becky was only 11 months younger than me. So there was an adventure they went on and took us with them. And not on an airplane or anything, but you know, cross country. They just took off, and we ended up in Alaska. We couldn't have stayed for very long because by the time I was in kindergarten again, I was back in New York, Western New York. And surprisingly, they put us in school, and I guess they put us in school at the right times because I actually graduated on time. By the time I was 10 years old, we had, there were 7 of us by that time. So we lived in a house that was in the middle of a potato field. We lived in a house that was what was the name of that little town? It was a little tiny town, and we lived in that, and there was a house in town there. And then we lived in Corey, and it was a little bit outside of town, this other house that we lived in. Then we actually lived with, during this time, a lot of the times my father wasn't there. He was gone somewhere. And so my mom was kind of a single mom in a lot of this stuff. I remember him not being there a lot. We came over, we went to West Virginia. My mom was looking for a job. Of course, she went to this card place in West Virginia near Summerfield. There's this, like a Hallmark card place up in the mountains. And we went there, and we went to Morgantown actually before that, and she would give platelets just to make money because we had no income. We had no, you know, before that we would have food stamps, but you have to have an address and you have to live in a physical place, a physical state to get food stamps. So we would, you know, make up residency, you know, wherever so she could get that. But when we were doing this little traveling thing, she wasn't able to get food stamps. She like took whatever from that point, from that state where she was, and you know, it goes fast. You've got 7 kids to feed. I didn't know the whole story, but social services was looking for us. So it was like, hurry up and get us out of town. So I know we had to pack up and leave, you know. So she takes us all home, pulls us out of school, and my father's at home waiting on us. He said, you got 5 minutes to tell me where the $5 is. So of course I'm frantic and crying and saying, guys, ooh, does anybody know where it is? Does anybody have it and stuff? 5 minutes goes by. My mom, you know, lines us all up and we get a spanking. You know, you got 5 more minutes to come up with this $5, come up with this money. And that really, after those 5 minutes, the statement I remember my father saying, you're not hurting your hand anymore. And he grabbed a 1x1 board, a stick, 1x1 stick, and made us line up, and he beat us with that stick. We all had to be in line, and he beat us with that stick. 2 people he didn't, and that was the little one. And anyway, so we all stood in line, and he beat us, and they said, you got 5 minutes, another 5 minutes. And I'm like, of course, we're all boo-hoo crying, and we can't understand why somebody hasn't given it up. Then all of a sudden, he doesn't wait for like 5 minutes. I know we're looking all over the house, and I'm just like, why are we this? I'm thinking it's stupid that we're all looking over the house because somebody, whoever took it, like, give it up, and we're looking for this thing. So then he takes the boys, and he puts them in the bathroom, and he turns on cold water, makes them strip down in cold water, and he's choking them and pounding their heads against the shower. saying, give me the, I know it was one of the two of you, and he's pounding them, like punching them and choking them, and I'm screaming because I'm like, there's nothing I can do but cry and scream, and also I'm kind of scared of screaming too, so I'm like going, trying to stay out of the way and not knowing what to do. You know they're getting beat, because I've been beat, so I knew what was happening in there. I could hear them screaming at them. They're screaming, they don't know where it is. All of a sudden, David, my brother, says, it's at school. So they took him back to school and they got it out of his desk. While I stayed there, my dad actually built a restaurant, and this is my foster dad. So he actually built a restaurant out back for my mom, and it's called the Ellery Country Cow. So it's all handmade. I helped him, and their son David helped him pretty much, and then we had Uncle John, so it was kind of a community thing, but mostly my dad, myself, and David really made this restaurant from the ground up. There was a lot of abuse with this guy. There was I didn't have any drug use, but he had a lot of drug use, a lot of drug trafficking, if that's considered trafficking. He would travel, use my car, use my, money, use my apartment for selling drugs, but he had, but he smoked them too. So
what kind of drugs?
Cocaine, crack. A little bit of weed, but more crack. Crack was the big thing. So I've witnessed crack being made, sold, 8 balls, spoons, baking soda, flame, smoked pipes, glass pipes with the Brillo pad, Cho Boy is what it's called, put on the end, where you put the piece of crack on the end and you have the flame and you're burning it and smoking it. All of this stuff happened. So this room is a student organization where we have actually just started. We've been, I guess, 3 months now into its SWAP. It's Students with a Purpose, and what we have is we're collecting clothes and different things to help out students in our community. So this is pretty much the room where we're collecting the clothes, we're sizing the clothes, folding the clothes, and taking care of the clothes in that way, and the students are the ones that actually do that. And it's kind of a collection right now. They've collected the boxes. Look, I have to remind my girls, don't forget to eat lunch, because 3rd block is lunchtime.
Yeah.
That's their little list. I had them go around and count the stalls upstairs. She was pregnant when I first started working here. She was already pregnant, and she was in 10th. She's a senior now. So the baby is not a baby anymore. It's a toddler. Yeah. So I want to say 2. She's 2.
Is she trying to go to college?
Mercedes will go to college if she can do it. She's smart enough to go. She's got the grades well enough to go. It's just we got to make sure that she goes and brings the baby. She's going to have to have some support. But if she starts out at RCC, that's fine. There's nothing against that. But she can go to a 4-year university right now, and she has to have somebody that's going to be able to give her the resources and to say, you can do this. You can, because they have family housing at these things, and these are some of the things that maybe she doesn't know right now. So that was one thing I actually did communicate with her is. Well, I asked her, does she plan on going away? And she's not sure right now. So I'm hoping that maybe she does. But then she's Hispanic, so then they have such a family atmosphere, a family bonding thing that she probably won't go away, because she'll probably stay and take care of her mom. Has younger children, 2 younger children, and she has an older brother who has special needs. So she'll stay there as kind of a motherly figure to help her mom out, is what I see happening. And I don't want her, I of course want her to help her family. That's, that family unit, it's wonderful. But I don't want her to feel like she has to be held back. And I think she has a pretty good head on her about that type of stuff. Here at school, she talks a good game here when she talks to me, but I'm not sure that she talks or feels the same way at home. But you know her brother. Andreas is her brother.
Oh.
Yeah, Andreas. So he has special needs and graduated last year. So he's going to be home his whole life with his mom. And then she has a sister that's in middle school, and then a brother that's in elementary school. And now she has her own daughter, and they all live in the same house. But they're a good family, and she's very mature for her age, and has had to be very mature for her age, giving that family unit that she's in. So
Yeah.
but I hope she can be something. She can do something with her life.